Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to try to use the Stamp and Stencil Kit from iMethod Beauty that I did not receive free in PR from them. I received it free from my friend Kim. But then I don't have to worry at all about what they think of my review, or because they don't know I exist, or feel like I need to make it work if it won't. So what you get in the kit seems to be two little spoolies for brushing your eyebrow hairs up before you start. The stamping powder, which looks like this. It's in the lid. You just kind of do a little twirling number on the little sponge, do the stamping, and 20 stencils, which I've tried stencils in the past, and the reason I would normally just choose to use an eyebrow pencil or powder and do it without something like this is because even with 20 eyebrow stamps, I rarely find one that's the exact shape that I want, that I could just, stick here and go up on my face with. And even if I did that, then flipping it around, they're still not going to look identical because your bone is different underneath your eyebrows from one side versus the other. One side is usually rounder and one side is flatter. So if you picture taking a stencil on something that's flat and stenciling it on there, and then putting that piece of paper over something that's round and putting the stencil on it, they're still going to appear different. So I actually think usually you can make them look more similar by not using a stencil. And just kind of to show you, because if I would use this stencil or any of them and just stick it on, if I line it up here against my face, look how far in the eyebrow would go. And you wouldn't want to just stick it at the front in, or my eyebrows would also be super long out here onto my temple, which would also be a little ridiculous. And it's not this one, so that one is confident, this one is sexy. But they're all kind of, see if I can line it up in a mirror. So see if I put the front where the front would need to be, the back is very far off from what I would want it to be. So you do kind of want to line up usually where the line that says brow ridge would be into your arch, which would give you a somewhat better shape, but you can still this one isn't even close. So I did already go through and find the ones that were the closest, and Nobility and Party Star were the ones that seemed to work the best for me. One is a little more archy and one is a little bit more rounded, but let me line it up and kind of show you. If I angle it like this, this is a pretty good match. However, the other thing to remember, even using the stencils, is if you would slightly angle it differently on the other brow, they're also going to be completely uneven looking. So using a stamp isn't mean that they're going to be, perfectly twins. They could still look absolutely crazy. But yeah, this one to me, Party Star or Nobility, is also about as good a fit as I'm going to get. And I'll just have to not do the front section at the same time, or it would still look crazy. So I'm going to use this one. I'm also not going to go all the way to the pointy tip, I don't think. And I'm definitely not going to come all the way over into the middle, because yeah, that would be to the center of my face almost, which clearly is going to be way too big of an eye. Okay, but lining it up with my arch, using the little stamper, mostly at my arch, because I don't want it to look crazy. And maybe I can go to about here in the middle before taking it off. And that's really not too bad. But I probably would then want to still take a Q-tip and do a little cleaning up. That seems a little thick for me. So there, I think that looks better. And then I'm just gonna have to flip it to do the other side. I'm gonna redo my stamp. Clean off my little stencil. Try to line it up. I'll come back and show you. So this is about as good as it's going to get. Again, I'm not going to go all the way to the front of the stencil because that would make it way too big, but using the back side of it, stamping that on there. See, that's not bad. Still probably want to do a little carve out. Am I on the screen carving it out? Actually, they're looking pretty uneven. Tilt you a little bit more here. Let's take most of that away. Yeah, no, they look weird. So let me take these off and then we'll try maybe Party Star. No, that was Party Star. Maybe then I should take it off and try Nobility instead of Party Star and see if that one is any closer. Okay, makeup eraser dip off of there. I'm going to use my little spoolie, brush them back up. Try this Nobility one instead. More stuff on. Let's see, get it lined up. See, I don't think I have to carve that one out as much, but I don't really like the color that it gave me in the front. Did I stop it too soon? Let's see. I hold it back here and just take it up to my finger. Is that better? Now I'll just carve out. Okay, that one's a little bit better. All right, now redo from my other side. Clean off my stencil. Try to line it up. Then stamp. All the way to where? There's the front. Look how high I got that though. And then do a lot of cleanup. See, they still look pretty darned uneven, although this one was better than the other one. So I used to have some stencils that were like a whole band that went across instead of, you know, two separate ones. I think those probably came closer to, you know, you getting them even. But what if I used Scotch tape and taped these to my face? Let's try that. Okay, so I'm back. I've already taped this one down into place, and I went with this one that says Queen just because it almost seemed to be one of the smaller ones that if I'm going to have them on there and just stamp along, I could do. But I thought because it wasn't exactly simple to tape this down, so I thought I'd show you on this one. But I feel like this little line that goes across, then I should kind of line up with this line that goes across. And I'm going to say there, Scotch tape this side back down. Here. Here. Okay. And I do feel like this kind of gives you that better vision too. So these two stencils, you know, are the same, but this bone on me sticks out quite a bit further than this one does. So they already kind of appear different. All right, but let's stencil these babies. So maybe is that actually better yet? Would just ignoring my own eyebrows that are there give it a better look and tape them down? They feel a little long to me, but they're not terrible. Especially if then I would go in with a Q-tip and kind of take off a little bit of this that seemed large. And then use some eyebrow gel. I don't know. What I do think that this would work good as, if I take this spot that is gray, I bet it would cover that up nicely. I don't know. As far as my eyebrows, I do think that this probably is nice enough that because it's waterproof, it would stay on there nicely. It's just the whole idea with the stencils that I feel like it's just way easier to do it myself than line those stencils up, because that seemed to take a long time. I'm going to remove these again. So what if I just used it out of the stamper, but still on my little brush of my own? Forget the stencils. Can you see me? Get back in, do the front. Do the other side. Use some little brow gel. So maybe it's just that this is what I'm more used to, and maybe it's not any better than the other. It just feels more comfortable and definitely a lot faster. Well, my unasked for review is this stencils just make it way more difficult than it needs to be. But I don't mind this color at all, and I think I'll just keep it and use it like the rest of my little eyebrow shadows that I use. Just a little side note that I don't know necessarily means anything, but I thought I would just do so that I could show you the shapes of them each. I did them in alphabetical order, but it is, you know, I've taped them on just, but the slightest little movement in even where if you tape them, you know, will have you messing up, which is again another reason I feel like these would just be super hard to work with and not necessarily like an easy, quick fix for people. But all right, let's see what these look like after I take them off. So here are the shapes in alphabetical order from classic, confident, elegant, heroine, nobility, party star. I'm going to guess that kind of moved a little bit on that. Queen, sexy, shooting star, and youthful. And I have absolutely no idea why this part got so much darker in the middle of it. I could tell it was doing it. I don't know if my arm was like a little bit damp in that spot still from removing eye makeup swatches from earlier. But that also gives me pause to think, and all of them, you know, kind of appear different colors for it to be the exact same stamp. So I think you'd also have to work really hard to make sure you get just the right amount each time and not a little more or a little less for that to turn out for you. So yeah, my overall review on this, and again, thank you, Kim, for giving me the product so that I could try it out and do a little review on my own for it. I wouldn't suggest it for anyone. I can't imagine who would benefit from it, because it's going to need to be somebody who is struggling to just use shadow and draw them on their own selves. But then the idea that you'll struggle drawing them on your own self, but you can work the stencil just perfectly, just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So, I mean, just my honest opinion. And I do think that over time it would get easier to figure out how to use them, that, you know, you'd get better, but you'd also get better just drawing them on yourself. So anyway, thanks for joining me for this product review, and I'll see you in another video. Bye. Thank you.